Welcome to Bike Week Radio Show.
Powered by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance.
Bike Week Radio Show with Bobby Wooldridge, Broc Glover, and Paul Carruthers on San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Good morning and welcome into Bike Week Radio Show on San Diego Sports Leader, the mighty 1090. Rest of the world, rest of the country, please pray for us here in San Diego. It is raining, cats and dogs out here, cars are being flipped over at will, all hell's broken loose. It is Armageddon in San Diego. It's almost 51 degrees and raining, so
it's a war zone out there.
You know we're struggling here in San Diego as the rest of the world just laughs at us. But today will be a incredible, high-energy, upbeat show. And if you don't believe me, you can just ask the Let's Talk Hookup guys because, you know, it's low-key. Scott and I are just hanging out in the back, you know. And then Paul Carruthers and Adam Waheed, road test editor for Motorcycle USA, shows up and, whoa, the volume level explodes in the back.
They told us to keep it down in the green room.
Party time. You know when they close the door that...
Slam the door on us.
They slam the door. You can tell they're kind of pissy,
So keep it down in the green room.
Those fishermen, like, shh, it's like, shh, there's fish here, you know. They can hear us, and they're going to run away, and we're not going to catch them.
He's almost on my crankbait.
But, yeah, so I have a feeling that will sort of be the tone that we set today. And no Brockster. Brockster's flying somewhere over the flyover states as we speak, getting home. And so
he's in the Bike Week Radio Show G5 as we speak.
So Brockster, we'll catch up with him next week. But don't worry, we have a incredible substitute sitting in Brockster's chair this morning. Adam Waheed, great to have you back, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Second appearance on Bike Week Radio Show, so you know he's good. You know he knows the drill. You got the rookie hazing out of the way the first time. Now he gets to just be a regular.
Well, the first time, it's like I met him at his office, you know, because it's 5 minutes from my house. So the first time, you know, I showed up there and he's sitting in his car all ready to go. This time I show up and 20 minutes later he rolls in. So I think he's like, you know, he's Mr. Radio Star now and he's got his crocodile Waheed hat on. And yeah, I sat there for 20 minutes. Should I have to do that?
Did it remind you of the old days when you used to be my boss when I was always late?
Exactly.
I said you should have shown up in your chauffeur outfit and your little top hat and had him sit in the back seat.
Yeah, he hops in the car. He's like,
bottle of water, some coffee.
He hops in the front seat. Hey, Pablo, you ready to go? It's like, oh, yeah, I've been ready for 20 minutes.
Mr. Waheed, your ride is here. So, yes, a lot of show here. Also, a good day to call the program once again, 877-792-1090, 858-457-1090. Adam is the road test editor for Motorcycle USA, so if you got any questions, Adam is the guy you want to call today. If you have products you're interested in buying, or you've probably tested everything on the market, everything on a shelf right now, and so Adam is the guy that you're going to want to talk to. And so, good day for phone calls. But let's just hop into the news here with Paul Carruthers.
Nobody knows the news better than Bike Week Radio Show.
This was an age when only men were allowed to read the news.
And only Bike Week Radio Show has Paul Carruthers.
Hey, I'm here. We can do the news now. It's all right, everyone. We can do the news. Hold on. Everyone, why are we all standing around? Let's go.
We don't have Broc here today, but we still have Supercross, even without him.
Another awesome round last night.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed watching. We talked about this last week. It's nice when those races are back east and old guys like you and I can actually stay up.
Exactly. And we can watch the entire race.
Yeah, I think 4 o'clock. I was kicked back in my chair watching Supercross. It's the perfect time.
I'm a big fan of East Coast races too, man. It makes your day just better.
Well, it still allows you to have an evening.
Totally.
Even though my evening wasn't anything to write home about. But, you know, guys like Adam can finish the Supercross and start going clubbing.
Still go
still go to the bar. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Especially with his new hat there. That Crocodile Dundee thing.
Anyhow, the race itself was pretty much a Ryan Dungey domination. It was the third win of the year for him. And he now has a 30-point lead going into Daytona.
I'm going to say that was a convincing win, as the stick and ball guys would say.
I mean, he like I said, 30-point lead going into Daytona, which officially starts the second half of the season. And I was surprised to hear last night on the telecast that, and Adam and I were talking about this on the drive down this morning, he hasn't won Daytona Supercross yet, which I found hard to believe.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun week.
The year, yeah.
And as Adam said, I mean, the guy who wins Daytona is usually the guy that year.
Yeah.
And it's been Ryan Villopoto and what have you. But we'll have to see this year if Dungey wins that race. But the way he's going, it'd be difficult to bet against him. Weston Pike got the early lead in that race and had a little bit of a battle with Chad Reed, and then Chad crashed. And then Dungey just kind of went into attack mode and took the lead from Pike on lap 6 and pulled away to win. Eli Tomac got second in that one by passing his teammate Trey Kennard on the last lap. In the 250 race, your boy there, Marvin Moose.
When nobody else
Moose
can, but when he wins, he's must win. Huh?
Yeah.
See what I did with that right there? Huh?
I think the wrong guy's doing the news. Anyway, he was also dominant, and it gives KTM another sweep, which we talked about.
I
This
saw
a
a nice
weeks ago.
photo that someone posted immediately after the race. I mean, there's Roger D right in the middle. He's got Dungey to the right. He's got Moose Can to the left, and just that's as happy as you'll see Roger.
Yeah, he's doing it, man.
At least led on at a.
He is, and it just goes to show you when you know what you're doing and you work hard, good things happen to you, and it's definitely happening with them right now. So. Yeah, he beat Jeremy Martin by about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Justin Bogle was third. At least in that one, the championship's still really close. Moose Can leads Martin by 7 points and Bogle by 10 points. So that's going to I think that's going to be an interesting race to watch at Daytona.
For sure.
It will be.
Because at this point in time, you could see any of those guys stepping up at that one,
Yeah, because all three of those guys are rippers, man. So like any weekend, like they could potentially.
And I just think Daytona is always my favorite Supercross of the year, just
too.
because it's gnarly and it's longer and
hard.
it's outside and Carmichael always tries to,
And just the craziest stuff happens there. Remember a few years ago when it rained so hard, and I'll never forget. I forget which rider it was, but here's a bike during the 250 main. It's completely buried up to the foot pegs, but it's pointing to the moon.
Right.
And the rider, an attempt to free the bike, is standing on the front wheel.
Yeah, I remember. Remember when Chad Reed's bike blew up in
Chad.
like the last lap or something.
Yeah, he's like 3 turns from the finish, and boom, we're done.
Yeah, so it's one of those races that really anything can happen. More on the motocross front was yesterday was the opening round of the World Motocross Championship, and I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions. Did Antonio Caroli win?
No.
Did Ryan Villopoto win?
No.
Did either of those two favorites finish on the podium?
Negatory.
No.
That's exactly right, because German Max Nagel won.
Anna Husqvarna.
And the other two didn't make the podium, so it was surprising. Now, I know Villopoto is our guy, and rightfully so, but I'm almost of the impression I'm pleased that he didn't go and dominate.
I am too.
I mean, I've talked to people now for 2 months, or however long it's been that he made the announcement that he was going there. And
wait till RV gets there.
And the view tended to be that, he's going to go over there and he's going to kill those guys. He's going to dominate every single race.
It was like the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, and
it was supposed to be at least.
Don't get me wrong. I think he's probably the fastest motocross racer I've ever seen in my life. But I think it's disrespectful to those guys over there and to that series to think that he's just going to show up over there and dominate them. So from that standpoint, I was glad to see that didn't happen. Do I think he's not going to win the World Championship? Well, no. I think he will win the World Championship. I think he'll figure some stuff out and make that happen. But I don't think it's going to be this cakewalk as we've already seen in the first race. Now, that race just might be a hiccup or whatever, because
it was like a hiccup at the start.
Well, it's like Anaheim 1. You can't judge the season by the first round.
But there's nobody that would have told me that he was going to finish 8th overall the first round. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, podium, sure, win, probably 8th. Nobody's going to say that. So I think it's a bit of a shakeup, and I think that adds more interest in that series than if he would have gone.
I love the international banter. The volley back and forth with all the strings everywhere. The race is discussed. I mean, there are some serious, nationalism and table.
Oh, for sure, man, it's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a German guy won, Max Nagel,
Achtung, baby.
And it's like this guy just didn't fall out of Der Wiener Schnitzel.
No.
But that's how people think. It's like, oh,
but
these
he
guys
was der winner.
Exactly. He was der winner, and there's a lot of other guys that were der losers. So, anyway, I thought it was good to see. I'm glad it worked out the way that it did, and I'm sure Villapoto's got a.
Here's another crazy thing about that people are kind of complaining about. They're going, there are no spectators. There's no spectators. It's like that event is not about spectators. It's over there. It's well funded.
They don't get a lot of people there for the MotoGP.
No people.
It's not. Yeah, it's not about. I mean, it's
like
a lot of that. It's a TV.
It's made
sport.
for sport and TV event. That's it.
Right. So yeah, it's not a surprise. It's not by no means. It's Italy or Spain or anything.
I heard
that.
read another rumor that the guy who writes the check for that round, part of his sponsorship for the series is he pays for the travel of the contingent.
Right.
The riders travel around by virtue of the fact that he writes a big fatty. I love guys like that.
And I wish we had one around here on the radio
Maybe
show.
we should do a remote there, huh? Next year we'll go there and we'll be in the sand.
And that's it from the news front. So do we just want to start talking to Adam, or what's your plan over there?
Here's a couple little shout-outs here. Our semi-infrequent show host, Ricky Johnson, the bad boy, Mr. Two Hip, RJ. He was celebrated there in Atlanta last night.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
In a pre-race ceremony with our friends from Legends and Heroes. So big shout-out to RJ. We love you. And
so has he not had that honor before?
He had not.
And why did they pick there?
Because he's there, and here's another thing. This is kind of a newsy angle. He's been working with Blake Baggett this year.
Yeah, and it's all of a sudden he stepped up his game.
Yeah, and Blake's he's improving, getting a little better week by week. I think he finished 5th place last night, and just ahead of Ken Roxon. But Ricky's, there's a reinvigorated RJ there. He loves the sport. Obviously, it was a big part of his life throughout his life, and now being reconnected with the Suzuki folks and Yoshimura Suzuki and Blake Baggett in particular, it's a nice thing to see for those close to him. So
and I guess with his success, you could just pick any of those races and honor him because he probably won all of them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's one piece of news that you seem to have forgotten, which I can't see why. But
because I'm 800 years old.
Well, no, you forgot to mention the big news for you guys. You guys announced your TV correspondence for.
You mean Moto America?
Yeah, Moto America.
See, I have to be careful
Pablo.
with that, and I try not to be Mr. PR guy all the time. So yeah, we did announce that, and actually we got really good response from that because Colin Edwards is hugely popular. I think he's going to be a good addition to that broadcasting team of Jonathan Green and Christy Lee.
Make sure you're on an 8-second delay.
Oh, I know.
That's all I got.
That's part of the allure.
Yeah, just warn the guys in the truck. Hey, have the ready because we've had Colin on a few times here, and he's been a fantastic guest, one of our favorites. He not only does he come on, he always makes it into our best of end of the year show too because he's such a good host. But
yeah, he's gonna
he's
be
a
good.
wild card.
He definitely calls it as he sees it.
Exactly, and that's what I'm looking forward to because it's not good if everyone's just everything's great, everything's you want somebody to throw a little bit of spark in there, and I think he's the perfect guy to do that. So yeah, I'm pumped on the TV thing. It's funny you had to remind me about it, even though it was just this week. It just seems like a long time ago already. But no, he's going to be good, and Jonathan Green's really good. He used to do World Superbike, and he's also done some AMA Superbike in the past, and I worked with Christy this week. We did some segments for our preview show. So she was out in California. We did a thing with Josh Hayes. Yep. We did a thing at the Yoshimura shop, and we did a thing with Wayne Rainey. So yeah, she's a pro. She's
we should bring her in studio too.
Yeah, she kind of reminded me a little bit of Adam because she also made me late one day.
Well, he's hung up on that late thing, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I'm Mr. On Time, as my friends can attest to. But every once in a while, one of these kids kind of screws up your day, and.
We'll let Adam get some shots coming back here.
That's what we do, right, Paul? When we're north of 50, we're like, we can complain about the clock and being timely.
Right. You get to a point where you've just been screwed so many times that you just start talking about it.
Oh, jeez.
I'm telling everybody.
Mr. Melodramatic.
separate to your corners.
The drive down here was nice because it's always, you can imagine how fast the drive goes having Adam sitting next to you.
It's like Gumball Rally, though. There was just spin-outs and crashes all along the I-5.
And I had a cup of coffee, so I was pretty chatty, and, we chatted the whole way down, and it felt like we were driving through Beirut at points.
Oh, God, yeah. It's
Carnage.
sketchy out there, man.
I still can't figure out how guys crash their cars going straight on the freeway, end up upside down in a ditch with no
traffic,
other cars around.
Perfect visibility.
You couldn't recreate that thing with the best stunt team.
No, I don't know how I could get in that position if I tried.
Here's something. Years ago, I was driving down the coast with our friend Dan Walsh, and we're coming through San Clemente. You get that thing where it finally kicks you out of town, and you're going south, and everybody goes 90 through there. We look over to the right. Here's a Volvo station wagon towing a boat, and it somehow it's up on the wall. It hasn't turned over yet, but it's as if you just took it over the crane and set it up on the wall, because that's what happens on the I-5.
Yeah,
add a little rain, you get upside down in the ditch.
Oh, no. Well, remember last time it rained, I was on my way down, and the lady was facing the opposite direction on, I don't know what happened to her.
The one you stopped. Oh, no, he didn't stop to help her.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
He had
a show. He's got responsibility. He's got a show to do.
Well, coming up next, Adam Waheed in studio. Well, we'll get into with Adam here. If you want to call the program, 877-792-1090 or 858-457-1090. Or, once again, best way to interact with the program while we're not on during our one little hour here on Sunday mornings, the Bike Week Radio Show Facebook page, or you can interact with the new Bike Week Radio Show smartphone app.
You want to download that app. Epic Phil is really pushing that, and we're getting more and more signups daily, hourly.
And maybe we'll be doing some giveaways or something through that app. I don't know. You never know with the Bike Week Radio Show crew.
It's going to happen.
And so you're going to want to get that app. But right now, let's get one of those fresh, helpful riding hints, especially on a day like today where we said all hell's broken loose on the roads in Southern California. So you're going to need a helpful riding hint from our good friends at Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys have been representing riders for decades. And here's Chuck Coro from Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys to provide you with a helpful riding hint.
Red light sensors can be problematic for motorcyclists because the weight of the bike and the rider generally won't trip the sensor. The law is moving in the direction where all traffic signals will be able to detect a motorcycle or bicycle. In the meantime, you can try to roll your bike back and forth over the inductive loop, or if safe, park and push the pedestrian bike. But the best way to get through the intersection is to make a complete stop, turn right, and then make a legal U-turn.
This helpful hint has been brought to you by Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys at 1-800-4BIKERS or online at russbrown.com.
The negotiation begins the minute you walk in the door, Frank.
Jerry, I'm going to Toyota Carlsbad for my new Toyota. I don't have to worry.
Brother, walk in with that attitude, you're dead meat.
Yeah, I don't think that's
First
the
thing when you walk in,
what?
Walk out.
Jerry,
you come back the next day, just walk right in, walk right out.
Look,
come back a week later, look them right in the eye and say,
I'd like to buy a car.
No, walk out.
Jerry, does this explain why you don't own a car?
You made me forget, was I in or out?
You're out.
This spring, hop in and save on a huge selection of new and used Toyotas.
Toyota Carlsbad. Here's an idea. Bear with me. You could save quite a bit of money just by switching your motorcycle insurance to Geico. Piles of it, in fact. But there may not be a lot of room on your bike for all that extra cash. So I had somewhat of an idea. You could get one of those nifty little sidecars, pile it up with all that money you just saved, and merrily drive on your way. It's just a thought. Just off the top of my head.
Call Geico today for a free motorcycle rate quote. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys are the real deal. Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. Their entire practice is dedicated to representing motorcyclists. As riders themselves, they understand why you ride, the issues you face, and the motorcycle culture. For over 30 years, Russ Brown and his partner Chuck Coro have been helping injured motorcyclists and their families get the care and compensation they deserve. Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys also created BAM. BAM! A nationwide buddy system of over 2 million riders helping riders in the event of a roadside emergency. BAM offers free legal advice, and thanks to Russ Brown, they have staff on hand to take your call 24/7, 365 days a year.
Imagine a real person answering the phone 24/7.
Just call 1-800-4BIKERS for more information and to get your BAM card today. If you go down, call Russ Brown. 1-800-4BIKERS and online at russbrown.com.
Hi, James here from Toyota of Escondido. Guys, if you're hearing this commercial, that means you are into powerful machines that go fast and are durable. Toyota of Escondido has the biggest selection in San Diego of Toyota Tacomas and Toyota Tundras. Whether for work or play, we can customize the truck of your choice into the truck of your dreams. Don't waste time anywhere else. Stop by or give us a call. Toyota of Escondido. Freeway close where Highway 78 meets Broadway, just east of the 15.
This is Bike Week Radio Show with Bobby Wooldridge, Broc Glover, and Paul Carruthers on San Diego's sports leader, the mighty 1090.
Welcome back, Bike Week Radio Show, San Diego sports leader, the mighty 1090. A lot of fun in studio.
Let's go down under.
Let's go down under. Adam Waheed joins us in studio.
Hey, everybody.
Adam, what were you calling him behind the scenes here, Paul?
Crocodile Waheed.
Crocodile Waheed. Looks good on it. He's got
Okay, this is funny because these guys just went down to Australia to ride the new Yamaha R1. So I'm sitting at home, in Southern California with my new job. And with my old job, I would have been with those guys in Australia, on my free trip.
Yeah, we would be having a blast. It would be even more fun.
It would have been more
with
fun.
With a local.
So anyways, I'm sitting there looking at the photos on Instagram of these guys in Australia, Sydney of all places, just having the greatest time ever. And it was the first time I was actually like, but I survived.
Jealous in a positive way?
I was, yes, envious is the word.
Yeah, it was a great trip, great experience, great bike, great country.
Eastern Creek.
Yeah.
Now it's called Sydney
Motorsports Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll always be Eastern Creek to me.
Yep. No, that's a cool place, man. Cool country.
How many times did your dad win there at Eastern Creek?
I don't know if they had Eastern Creek then. They had Phillip Island when he raced as when he was young. Yeah. But Eastern Creek came later.
Now that'd be a trip. Go back to Australia with the Carruthers clan.
That would be so fun, man.
That'd be an intro.
The convict clan.
I remember when we would go there as journalists, with the other guys. I'd always be the tour guide because I knew my way around. So these guys didn't have me there this year, but it looks like they found their way.
No, we explored the city. We actually rented. We got pedal bikes somehow from the Chinese tourism board, and we kind of went on a tour through the city on these old pedal bikes, but it was actually really fun and a great way to explore the city.
I saw those were the first photos that made me ill.
And the $1 million question: meat pies, for or against them?
Honestly, man, I wanted to try one, but I just didn't get a chance. I always wanted to eat
supposed to
else.
make us a batch of those things.
They had vendors on the side of the street. Instead of selling tacos, they were selling meat pies.
But probably still Hispanics were probably still making them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What meat's in there though? That's always the question.
What you might.
What's meat?
Whatever meat they want.
No,
cats,
it's
stray dogs.
It's hamburger meat.
Sure it is.
Sure, yeah, right.
Not that they feed to Americans. They give
kangaroo and koala meat.
Yeah, koalas.
It's not a third world country.
Koala meat. The cute little ones for the kids are koala meat.
But let's talk about what you were doing down there. And yes, the actual.
So why did you go?
Okay.
What prompted you to go all the way to Australia?
Well, Yamaha invited us to ride their new fully redesigned 2015 YZF-R1, so we just went there and got to...
What a motorcycle.
It really is. It's kind of cool to see Yamaha. They're one of, the big innovators in the sport bike category. They invented the R1 back in, I think, 1998, I think it was. And,
yep.
And that bike revolutionized the sport bike class, and then over the last couple of years, they've been getting beat up by the European brands and stuff like that. So it's nice to see them, reinvigorate.
So they'd had enough.
Yeah, they had enough, and they got reinvigorated and put some resources into building a really good bike, and they succeeded.
Yeah, I'll say. So did you have a chance to throw a leg over the R1M also?
Yeah, we did. We got to ride the R1 Standard and the R1M. We probably rode both bikes equally, probably 3 sessions on each. And for that $5,500 extra asking price, I think the R1M lists at $21,990. So it's $5,500 more than the Standard, but it's money well spent.
Because it's designed for the guy that really wants to compete on the bike.
Yeah, it's got full auto suspension that actually works, and just the the suspension alone, the auto suspension. You put it in like A1 mode, which is like the most high performance of the auto settings.
Adam 1.
And it sorts everything out. Like the bike feels like it's on rails. Like it doesn't pitch, it doesn't move. You can just haul ass on the thing and ride it as hard as you possibly can.
And what fun is that?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like it's crazy how much like not only like has technology progressed.
And you never
but
roll off the throttle when you shift, right? It's you just bang them.
You just bang them, man. It's got a really nice quick shifter that actually performs better than aftermarket quick shifters, which is kind of unusual because no aftermarket shifters are always better than OEM ones, except for the Yamaha's new R1 quick shifter. So it's like a technology tour de force, and more than just the technology that the bike has, like the way they integrate it, it's almost like Apple designed it. Like it's just so intuitive.
Well,
and works
which
so good.
Which brings up a good point because I've seen some banter back and forth on social media, on our page even, people for and against having that much technology, on board. I think it's cool. It's like the rest of our lives is all about apps and things we can do on our smartphones, and that certainly is translated over to a motorcycle.
Yep. When it's done right and when it actually can help you ride the bike faster, safer, with less danger, like I'm all for it. Like it's awesome. That's what it's about.
So how fast did you go? What was top speed?
I don't know, man. We were fifth gear pinned.
That first turn's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, first turn's fast, man.
What gear are you in going into first turn?
I would downshift into fourth. So fourth.
So you're approaching in fifth.
No, yeah, you're fifth gear, and you bang one downshift from the fourth, then you tip in for turn
fast.
one. It's really fast, and things are coming at you quick, and it's kind of like it's really wide. It's like you can go in there deceptively fast because there's a big exit on the drive out, so you can go in there really quick. And it kind of took me a while to it was kind of funny. One of my buddies, Bradley Adams from Sport Rider, he passed me into turn one, and he was hauling so much more ass through turn one than me. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's how you do it. So then after that, I would just go that fast, and it was perfect. It was funny.
It's always better to have a pilot fish.
It is.
Anybody sample the gravel track?
No one took any diggers. It was pretty safe.
It always surprised me at those intros that not a lot of people crash.
It blows me away, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's for starters, it's not your bike, which is also another reason why maybe you would crash it because you don't care as much.
Like the rental car.
Right. But also I think there's like an embarrassment level. You don't want to be that guy, you know? So I think everybody kind of goes as hard as, I think they keep something in reserve there. But it's funny if you go to those international intros sometimes and there's Brits or Italians or Spanish or something, it seems like they don't have that same kind of... because they do crash a bit.
It can get kind of crazy because at the end of the day, it's not a competition, but it is a competition.
Yeah.
Right. If there's more than one motorcycle,
element of competition. Every intro.
So people get kind of like they can get caught up in there and start. It happens. I mean, I've seen people take diggers all the time at press intros.
Well. You have, right?
I have too. I've been guilty of that.
I have.
Well, he said he's seen, and sometimes he's seen it with his own eyes.
Experienced, first person style.
In all the years I did it, it only happened to me twice.
What bikes were you on?
It was like a Kawasaki ZX-10 when it first came out, or something. No, ZX-12. Or...
You pile drived it into the dirt.
It was someone else's fault, right?
At Laguna Seca. No, it was all my fault. and then one time at a Michelin thing at Mazzano, I crashed.
Tires failed.
Well, that's always the case. Broc. No. But, no, it was in the rain, and it was like the last lap of the whole day, and I finally just had enough and just decided to crash it.
That was fairly recently, right?
No, it was a long time ago.
Was it? Oh, because you did another, I guess that was Ducati intro you did in the rain a couple years ago.
Yeah, but I didn't. So I've only had two, which I think is pretty good. How many?
I've only had two, like two press intro crashes. I mean, stuff happens, and when you're riding bikes all the time, like every
Especially
day.
when you just show up and go, there's your bike. Now go 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This one was less like that. They actually kind of had like a little bit of a warm-up, but I've been to intros where like you fly halfway around the world at a brand new racetrack on a bike that makes like 180 horsepower, and they're like, pin it, go pin it.
Yeah, you got no sleep the night before. You're kind of like figuring out where you are.
Kind of, maybe a little bit.
The scarier ones to me are when the intro starts out with like some street ride. So you don't know where you are, and they usually have some like really fast guy leading you. And if you get lost, you have no idea where you even are. So you're completely riding over your head for the first 45 minutes.
It can get gnarly. Like people kind of joke around, like, "Oh, I can do that. Like I'll be the guy to do that." But in all honesty, it's like kind of difficult to do that.
Yeah, we did a photo shoot in Italy a couple of years ago for Husqvarna, and at the time they had the Italian factory. and they had the new Strata that people were all horny for over here, a 900cc street legal hooligan bike. And we met. I had no idea. I thought it was a joke before we went over there. We were going to be assigned for the day the factory test rider. He's a union card carrying factory test rider. So
great gig if you can get it.
I'm driving a car with photo equipment and stuff, and we're following this guy around, and we end up having this great lunch that lasts for like 2.5 hours because he had to clock out and have his lunch. Like he wasn't going to eat with us. He went home. And when he came back, we finished our shoot in the afternoon, and then the guys, including Corey Eastman, our friend Corey Eastman from Bonnier or Cycle World, he had to take one of the motorcycles back. And when the guys finally got back to the factory and we picked him up, taken him back to the hotel, they're going, "Oh my God, that was the scariest ride I've ever had," because this guy was going to show these journalists what riding the streets of Italy and cobblestone streets and walls and things was all about.
Yeah, like riding in Sicily.
I did this Dainese trip. You've done it before.
Yeah, the Italian Legendary Tour.
Yeah,
awesome.
I did that a couple years ago.
In Montebelluna?
We ended up by Mugello, and then the night that we went to Mugello, we got a late start. It was the end of a long day of riding. We went to the Mugello track and did like a lap with Valentino Rossi, and there was like they opened it up to like all these people. It was just like chaotic. Like even Kevin Schwantz was scared, which you can imagine what it takes to make that happen.
Imagine the potty words coming out of his mouth.
We finished there. It's pouring rain. I have no idea where I'm going. I have a totally dark shield on. I can't see anything, and I'm trying not to lose the guy that's taking us back to our hotel. Because if I lost him, I wouldn't have even known any place. So you're just like, yeah, it's just.
You know what makes you a really safe rider in Italy, I found? Visit, before you get on a bike over there, go visit somebody in an Italian hospital. That's a total deterrent to taking that level.
But
of
I
risk.
think it's at times like that when you realize how all your experience of riding motorcycles, it just keeps you safe.
It really does.
You find out that you can ride a motorcycle a lot better than you even think you can because you're in that situation and you
don't have a choice.
Yeah, and you don't die. And if you don't die, you did pretty good.
You end up on the radio with us.
There you go.
So we talked about the level of improvements that a company like Yamaha is providing for its motorcycle buy-in public. And they seem to be a brand that, the Yamaha, my impression, they're always doing things well, and they're always offering products that are pretty relevant. Doesn't matter whether you're a sport bike guy on a R1 or an off-road guy on some of the new YZF
Yeah, they have a really
motocross
incredible
bikes.
lineup right now, everything.
So they're kind of, I always believe Yamaha's kind of a constant there, but what you're seeing in this new motorcycle that you went to Australia to test, it's notched up another layer.
Yeah, they really did their homework. Obviously all the manufacturers, they buy all the other brands' motorcycles and test them and benchmark them and stuff like that. But yeah, they really. I can't tell you if it's going to be the best bike in the class because we haven't done a comparison or shootout yet, but it's definitely going to vie for it. Like it could be. It'll be a really, really good shootout. I can't wait to actually conduct that and share that with everyone.
So prior to riding that one, if you had to pick a bike, I'm not even going to say the best sport bike I've ridden, but what's another bike you've ridden where you say, these guys, this is really an outstanding motorcycle. Like something you would recommend or talk about for your readers.
Well, up until now, that like BMW S1000RR HP4, they don't make. I think only made it for like 1 or 2 years, kind of a limited edition bike. That was kind of like the bike.
Yeah, that was always the benchmark.
Yeah, that was like the bike. So, that was like the last motorcycle that actually had like technology that actually worked and let you ride faster and safer. And this R1 is just, it's like on that same level. It could even be better, like I said. We're not going to know until we actually compare it against each other, but it could be like it's really, really good. Like it's just so seamless. Like you hop on the motorcycle and when you're on it, like you don't have to worry about the suspension, the power, anything. You just ride. Like you ride.
That's the way everything should be, right?
Yeah, like the only limiting factor is like your skill set. Like that's the limiting factor. Like you never have to worry about, the bike's moving around too much. The brakes aren't strong enough.
It's intuitive.
Yeah, it's
you're just worrying about not running off the edge of the track.
Totally, it's like autopilot. Like it allows you to put every like piece of your mental effort into riding and becoming a better rider. It's cool.
There's a lot of controversy, especially in the maybe not so much in the sport bike stuff. I'm not as in tune to the sport bike side as I am with the dirt and the adventure bike side. Let's talk about ABS. I mean, what do you guys think about ABS? There's guys that say that's a waste of time, shouldn't do it. There are others that go on. Of course, we should have state-of-the-art ABS. What are your opinions?
I've always kind of not liked ABS, but just because I like manual control of everything. But like some of the newer generation systems from like Yamaha and Ducati and BMW, like they work really, really well. And in some instances, I just prefer to have it on. You know, of course, it's nice sometimes, like when you're riding off-road, you're riding in certain conditions, you want ABS off. It's good to have that option, but then there's also options where you want to have it on, you know?
Although the newer adventure bikes are, you know, like the 1190 and now the 1290 KTM Adventure, they give you an option. You kick it off in the back, which I think is kind of cool. So you're not going to be locking up the front end, which is...
I think for your average street bike guy, it's a beautiful thing because... Yeah. I think I'm sure what causes the most accidents with guys riding motorcycles is the fact that they lock up the brakes and crash when they panic a little bit.
Yeah.
Totally.
And if it stops them from doing that,
then it's totally worthwhile.
Then it's totally worthwhile because, again, every guy that you have that doesn't crash a motorcycle is a motorcyclist you get to keep for a while longer.
True.
But at the racetrack, I mean, you don't really use it anyways if you know what you're doing. I mean, even if it's there, you know, you're not necessarily.
Some of the new systems, like the Yamaha in particular, and even Ducati system, like you can just leave ABS on. Like it doesn't really like.
You don't even think about it.
You don't even need to turn it off. No, like it's gotten so good where it's so like seamless and like it doesn't cycle. Like you can brake so dang hard and just the
it's not that pulsating.
They just have it
through
like,
the lever type thing. They
just have it really figured out.
That's
now.
A freaky feeling. First
totally.
time you're on a motorcycle and you grab a handful and you feel and you're going, something's absolutely wrong. It feels like I've got a flat tire or something's broken.
And it all depends on the brand too. Like the Kawasaki Sport Bike ABS, that's not the best. You know, the Ducati is, the BMW is, the Yamaha is. So it just kind of depends on the brand too. But I agree with Paul. I think it's a cool feature.
Yeah, I mean, when you're out on the twisties and stuff, and you're just riding with your buddies, or depending on your skill level, I've had it where I'm glad I've had it.
Yeah, it saved me before.
You know, like especially like if the surface
start getting on somebody too quick,
or even if like with some gravel or something where you encounter and you're on the brakes pretty hard
on the public roads.
Yeah, you do, especially after a rain
Moisture.
like this. Mm-hmm. There'll be a lot of gravel on the canyon roads and stuff next couple of days.
How about water? How about wet riding? Like I'm not a fan of wet riding.
No,
obviously I'm from.
Neither's that guy in the ditch up there on his, his
although
Mustang or whatever.
Big respect. When I was coming this way, I forgot to mention, as I came through Del Mar, I saw a guy on a, I guess it was a Supermoto Husky, on the freeway going north into that kind of rain, and I'm thinking, I wouldn't do it, but. I saluted him.
I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, we went on an intro last year, or where were we? And it was pouring rain. That Ducati. You were there.
I don't even remember, man.
Oh, well, anyway, we were at an intro in the pouring rain, and it all of a sudden made me feel really old because these guys are willing to just
go.
Yeah, and I just I was like,
yeah, I don't mind riding in the. I'm from Minnesota.
So. I'm like, yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, no big deal with me. I don't care. Yeah, rain.
But there's a reason I've made it to this age.
Yeah, true. Because every once in a while you have that presence of mind.
Yeah, pouring rain.
So, you told us about another trip that's coming up for you, Adam. I mean, living the life.
I guess we're waiting on that.
You have to hang tight for a second.
That.
Yeah, we'll get to that. What's next in the queue?
Stuff. He's got some exciting stuff on the plan.
Oh man, to trade lines with somebody
involves another. Continent surrounded by water.
If you want to trade lives with somebody, Adam's probably not a bad guy. Except for when he had me as a boss, then his life wasn't as good.
Oh, my God, it was
now
terrible.
It's perfect.
You get to travel the world. You get Paul Carruthers to drive you around. I mean, that seems like the man's living the life here. So we're going to come back with more with Adam Waheed, road test editor for Motorcycle USA. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Adam Waheed, WAHEED, for those of you playing the home game. A very good follow on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to call the program, 877-792-1090 or 858-457-1090. Phone lines are open and available to you if you'd like. But more with Adam. We're going to find out where he's going next right here on Bike Week Radio Show, San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090.
The negotiation begins the minute you walk in the door, Frank.
Jerry, I'm going to Toyota Carlsbad for my new Toyota. I don't have to worry.
Brother, walk in with that attitude, you're dead meat.
Yeah, I don't think that's
First
the
thing when you walk in,
What?
walk out.
Jerry,
you come back the next day, just walk right in, walk right out.
Look,
come back a week later, look them right in the eye and say,
I'd like to buy a car.
No, walk out.
Jerry, does this explain why you don't own a car?
You made me forget, was I in or out?
You're out.
This spring, hop in and save on a huge selection of new and used Toyotas.
Toyota Carlsbad.
Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys are the real deal. Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. Their entire practice is dedicated to representing motorcyclists. As riders themselves, they understand why you ride, the issues you face, and the motorcycle culture. For over 30 years, Russ Brown and his partner Chuck Coro have been helping injured motorcyclists and their families get the care and compensation they deserve. Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys also created BAM. BAM! A nationwide buddy system of over 2 million riders helping riders in the event of a roadside emergency. BAM offers free legal advice, and thanks to Russ Brown, they have staff on hand to take your call 24/7, 365 days a year.
Imagine a real person answering the phone 24/7.
Just call 1-800-4BIKERS for more information and to get your BAM card today. If you go down, call Russ Brown. 1-800-4BIKERS and online at russbrown.com.
Here's an idea. Bear with me. You could save quite a bit of money just by switching your motorcycle insurance to Geico. Piles of it, in fact. But there may not be a lot of room on your bike for all that extra cash. So I had somewhat of an idea. You could get one of those nifty little sidecars, pile it up with all that money you just saved, and merrily drive on your way. It's just a thought. Just off the top of my head.
Call Geico today for a free motorcycle rate quote. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
This is Bike Week Radio Show with Bobby Wooldridge, Broc Glover, and Paul Carruthers on San Diego's sports leader, the Mighty 1090.
Welcome back, Bike Week Radio Show, San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in on that brand new handy-dandy Bike Week Radio Show smartphone app. Incredible way to interact with the program throughout the entire week. Special podcasts are up there. Interviews broken down week by week. You can search it. You can find, hey, I want to know about this interview that happened maybe a few months ago. Boom. All on the smartphone app, as well as some pictures and some of the behind-the-scenes fun
a lot of pictures,
shenanigans that go on during the Bike Week Radio Show week.
Which is just nonstop here.
And as I've always said, sometimes the best stuff that happens on the show is not quite appropriate for airworthy.
Hey, and before Adam gets into his next huge adventure, which any motorcyclist would just give his left and right, you know what, for, I wanted to give a salute to our friends Randy and Meg Minter. They run Cahuilla Creek motocross track. It's popular to many Southern California
I just
folks.
rode there on Wednesday.
Well, they were just voted #1 motocross track in California by Moto Playground magazine. So
great
we had dinner
track
with them last night. We tipped beers, we clinked wine glasses, and that's a pretty cool accomplishment for those guys.
Yeah, great facility, great track. I rode there Wednesday. So fun. Blast.
Well, Adam Waheed in studio, road test editor for Motorcycle USA. Once again, follow on Twitter and Instagram at Adam Waheed. And Adam, what's next in the queue? Where are you traveling next?
Well, next up, we're going to Lanzarote, which is like a city or an island, part of the Canary Island chain right off the coast of Africa. And we're going there to ride the new 2015 Multistrada by Ducati.
You get a direct flight there? How does that even work?
Oh, my God. It's a nightmare, man. I actually went there 5 years ago.
You got to go through Vegas.
It's a nightmare. It's like 20, almost 30 hours of flying, traveling to get there. But once you're there, it's pretty beautiful, but it's a lot of travel to get there. It's kind of a nightmare.
And you don't have to start riding like the minute you arrive. You get
Usually.
a little breather there.
Usually we do have to start riding as soon
agree.
as we land, but this time I think we get a little bit of breather, which is nice. It's always nice to acclimate to the surroundings and
go see some of the canaries and stuff.
Totally, yeah. Go pet a canary or two.
And that new Multistrada, what a motorcycle. I was in Italy when they unveiled that thing, and wow.
Yeah, it's been a really, really good bike for Ducati. I think it's kind of been carrying them over the last couple of years, and they've always made a really good Multistrada, and it just gets a little bit better every year. this new one should be a really nice bike. Like I've always liked Multistrada. They're one of my favorite Ducatis, probably.
Yeah, they're doing some really good things. I mean, Ducati as a brand has just like elevated every category.
They're definitely trying, man. They're definitely trying. They succeed in some categories more than others, but this Multistrada is one of their
Paul, you've been
strong
to
categories.
some of the Ducati intros. I mean, they really. Does anybody do it better in terms of overall experience? Motorcycles aside, but in terms of the overall experience.
No, they treat you pretty well.
They do, man. Their presentations are pretty legit for sure.
Yeah, they do. They do a nice job from top to bottom when you're there. They treat you well, and yeah, the technical part of it's always interesting.
Yep.
And they're that's a passionate company about motorcycles. So, and it comes off when they show you those places and show off their new bikes, and they usually have a lot of people there. They kind of mix it up with different countries, so you're not by yourself. Sometimes they do like Americans only or whatever, but at those things, it's usually pretty multicultural.
It really is, yeah. It's like people from all over the world there.
And that
It's
makes
cool.
it more fun, You get to see some people you haven't seen in a while or meet some new people.
Yep.
So how big will the American press contingent be going? Any idea?
I'm not sure. Probably, I would assume maybe about 6 to 8 people.
Yeah.
About half a dozen, maybe a little bit more.
Wow.
So
fun. Canary Islands.
Yeah, it's a cool.
It's like, where should we do this? Well, we've got a warehouse out in Wilmington. We've got a big parking lot here.
Right.
You guys have all been to intros like that.
Yeah.
How about we send them to the Canary Islands?
No, it's bitchin', man. It's really beautiful there, and like the roads, the roads are. I mean, we live in Southern California, so we have like epic, incredible, world-class roads
all
here.
the time, except for today.
Exactly. But there, it's just different. Like the landscapes, like you'll be like going around a mountain, and then like you like see the ocean and like this beautiful green valley, and like you're on this sketchy. I mean, sketchy in the sense that it's narrow, but it's actually well-paved road, and it's just beautiful, man. Like it's like God's country.
And it's also cool when you go and do those because I don't know what it is, but it's like when you're not here. You just feel like you're not going to get in trouble. Like
totally,
like
yeah.
you're not looking for
Yeah,
highway
you're away.
patrol,
Yeah.
and
There are no laws outside
rules.
of the
and the
continental United
the
States.
drivers are better. There's more motorcycles, so they're used to them. The police are used to them. The
overall.
police, you're not like always on the lookout for police because when you see them, it's generally like they're fine with it. I mean, they're just so used to more speed, I think, in their culture than what we are.
It's weird, yeah. Like when you go to like Europe or any country that's not America. It just seems like there's like the flow on the roads better. Like people just flow more. It's like hard to describe in words, but
well, it's definitely not an anomaly for most countries to have a lot of motorcyclists because they are part of the transportation.
100%.
I just think they're just used to more high performance things in their life, like whether it's cars or bikes or. Maybe they drove go-karts a lot when they were kids, or there's some kind of maybe there's some training that
like
they
those
do
packs
differently.
of mobilettas, right? The little the kids on their mopeds with expansion.
Well, like you see, I saw a video the other day. I don't know where, but it was kind of cool. But it's like you can see like a girl in a skirt going to the office, and she's blazing on the easy there, kid. Yeah. She's blazing on the thing like she knows how to ride.
Yeah, no, in Italy, like it always cracks me up. Like you pull up to a stoplight, and there'll be like a cute chick on a scooter, and like she'll want to hole shot you off the stoplight. Like
and
everyone wants to race.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool.
And they'll like back it in and stuff.
That was Valentina Rossi, by the way.
Yeah, I just think motorcycles are just generally like used as transportation in other parts of the world, and people are just more adept at using them just because they ride them all the time and need to get to work and need to split traffic.
And that makes the car drivers more used to seeing them.
Yeah,
like I think like even riding bicycles, you can tell in certain areas where you ride your bicycle on the street. When there's a lot of bicycles, people are just used to seeing them. Like I think we're lucky in Orange County because. They see a lot of bicycles on the road, so they're more familiar with it, and maybe it's a little safer.
It's dangerous, yet still
it's like,
safer in a way,
too. You feel like
too.
you have at least half a chance of coming back.
Yeah, unless you're in CDM, don't ride your pedal bike there.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
It's like danger zone.
The traffic problem in San Diego, Southern California, would be almost eliminated if everybody switch their car for a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
50%.
It's crazy, man.
Insane.
Especially in like downtown LA. My God, like
just for parking alone.
Geez,
parking,
like
everything would work better. But.
That's like we haven't talked about it, but there's some of these other states now that are pretty close to getting the lane splitting thing down.
Lane sharing,
lane
filtering.
And that's they'll find that makes a big difference for those places, and it's maybe we get to the point where it's not viewed as such a negative thing.
It's funny though. You get there's some table pounding going on with that subject ongoing, but not just from people in cars watching watching Adam zip by in his new Multistrada, but you see even motorcyclists, Life for Motorcyclists going, no, that's wrong, and they'll give you. They've never done it because they live in a state where it's not legal, but they'll give you all sorts of reasons why you are just an idiot or why
people are always scared of change.
I actually, we've had this discussion before, but I've never. When I'm riding a motorcycle on the street, believe me, I'm always paying attention. But when you're lane splitting, you're like ultra paying attention. So in some ways, it's like,
but it becomes, it's intuitive, and you don't do it. You see guys do. I saw it just yesterday. I had to drive down to San Diego, and you'll see guys doing it as if, well, I'm just. Of course, they're going to see me where they're pinned going between the lane of traffic. It's got to be done. There's some choreography involved there to do it properly.
Yeah, if they're going 10 miles an hour, you go like 15 or 20. Yeah. You don't go 80.
Yeah. And they're not just doing it consistently. You're just going little blip, little blip, little blip. I mean, that's sensible lane splitting, lane sharing.
I think so.
I don't know how we got on that subject, but it's always a good one.
If I ran for mayor here in San Diego, I would say we're going to build a Charger Stadium, and I'm going to fix traffic. And I would win in a landslide if that's what the platform.
Wait a minute, isn't that stadium going to be in another county?
That could also happen. But
is Qualcomm getting bulldozed?
You know what? That's what they should do.
Turn it into a racetrack.
My opinion, they should make it into a. We've raced there over the years, many years, and that was our Padres Stadium before Petco Park was built, and then the Chargers have been playing there. Isn't that footprint big enough to bulldoze that or build another stadium? Could those projects cohabitate for a while?
I think they could actually build a stadium and use the other one at the same time, build that one in the parking lot. That's what a lot of places do.
Yeah.
Okay, the parking's a nightmare for the year
I think
or
they
whatever.
did that with Arrowhead Stadium.
Exactly. So it can be done that way, but that to me makes more sense than maybe finding another site. And that's a subject that we probably shouldn't be talking about.
Yeah,
the old Bike Week radio show tangent. I had a feeling today's show might be a little,
when I thought we're going to have Adam here, I thought, instantly we're going to be talking about this Charger Stadium issue.
Yeah.
But
hey,
go for it.
Adam, motorcycles aside, give us a little, what are some high spots? What have you tested lately? Gear, food, coffee, beer? I mean, what have you been writing about lately for Motorcycle USA?
Just basically we did our big tire shootout a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so we tested, I think, 10 or 11 or 12 sets of high-performance sport rubber for sport bikes or street bikes. And it was really interesting.
Impressions?
Impressions are Pirelli won the test. It's also the most expensive tire, but if you want the most expensive premium tire, that Pirelli SP is it, man. That thing rips, my God. So we've been doing a lot of testing as far as the tires, just riding a lot of sport bikes in general.
He had to wait for me to leave to get that through the budget.
Yeah, that test cost.
I was like, man, that's a little expensive. But
yeah, that test costs us a lot of money. It always does. But I mean, I think it provides the reader or the consumer a valuable resource. We're literally
especially on a subject like tires.
Yeah, we're doing blind Pepsi style testing of tires, and tires are the most important aspect of your motorcycle,
And the same thing goes for motorcycles. It's people don't necessarily realize, non-motorcycle people, that you can't just go to a dealership and just take off on a bike and test it like you do if you go to the Toyota dealership. So they rely on magazines and websites to tell them
that's kind of their virtual test
because they just don't get to ride everything, So if you can give them some information that helps them make a better decision on their purchase, then who
better than Adam to provide that type of information?
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. Pablo just hit
if you're an early 30-year-old Yahoo, you read what Adam has to say.
Bobby,
he
didn't look at you that time.
Great story.
Well, Adam Waheed, road test editor, Motorcycle USA. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Adam Waheed. That's Waheed. Adam, fantastic, man. We always appreciate you coming in studio, and we will definitely do it again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I had a blast. I wish we could have talked a little bit more about the R1, but we'll get it next time.
There we go. You got to leave something.
Be an R2 by then.
Yeah, there you go. Paul Carruthers, great work. Take care of our VIP guest. Get him home safe.
Yeah, I'll make sure he gets
back
to where he came from.
Scott Cox, another great effort out of you, my friend.
I do what I can.
And special shout-out, once again, Phil Kottner, who's manning and creating that Bike Week Radio Show smartphone app. If you haven't sampled it yet, shame on you. Get on it, download it. It's free!
It's free, absolutely free.
Free. And so download Bike Week Radio Show, smartphone app, podcast. Full shows are up there. You can also check it out on iTunes or bikeweekradioshow.com. We'll be back next Sunday right here on San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090.
You've been listening to Bike Week Radio Show.
Powered by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance.
Join us next week for more Bike Week Radio Show on San Diego's sports leader, the Mighty 1090.